Deqing County that is it's a textile manufacturing base. So to take this former factory and turn it into a community center for the county, just yeah, that rings very true for me.
It's nice that they kept the original clerestory, huge clerestory windows, and I'm sure during the day it brings a lot of natural light into space.
Yeah.
I'd like to add, this project was also shortlisted for interiors and very well deserved. It's a elegant interior for a factory, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, very well done. Our bronze winner in architecture, okay if I move on, right? Our bronze winner for architecture is Palette Workspace by A Nomad Sub and Nanometer Architecture. Architecture judge opinion?
Well, yeah, I like the facade very much. It must have been a very difficult program to pack into a small building, but I've been looking at the plans. It's very well organized, you know, from floor to floor, and the pitched roofs that kind of penetrate from the facade into the interior space really give each floor a sense of place, sort of like as if, you know, each floor were an independent building on the ground. I'm sure you know, the materials used were not that expensive, but it really gives every space on every floor this richness in space, and the design of the roof has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I can see that. Every floor doesn't feel like you're sandwiched in a middle floor.
Right.
All right. Why don't we move on to our interior design winners? The first one is the Chapel of Tokyo Kaikan by Nikken Space Design.
So this project exudes calmness and elegance, as a chapel should. You should walk in there and feel very serene. It's a strong concept. It carries throughout all the spaces in the chapel. And I also like that it maintains its view over the city in the background of the pulpit, I guess is what you would call that. Very well detailed, very well done.
For me, the standout is, and I think it's a trend that's been ongoing for a while, but it's the use of a lot of timber to create the space, but make it a bit more warm, a bit more natural. I remember 10 or 15 years ago, a lot of these chapel designs were very much white on white, I guess would be the way to put it. White weddings, so they made the chapels heavily white, and I like this. I like this bringing a bit of natural feel and some timber back into it.
Yeah, it makes it much warmer space.
Our silver winner is Hiyoriyama Coast Museum by Nomura Company Limited. Jaylee?
This is another museum that really takes advantage of its site. And the views of the site are an important part of the museum. I also like that the exhibits leave a lot to your imagination, and which is great. It's not overwhelmingly kitsch or anything like that, and some very interesting exhibits. And as for the previous museum that Daishi mentioned, the coordination of the exhibit designers and the interior designers, or maybe it was one company, I've forgotten now, is difficult. It's challenging because both design teams have their own ideas. It seems very well connected to the architecture also.
Hmm.
Totally agree.
Feel free to jump in, Daichi, if you've got an opinion on
Yeah,
it.
a lot of these exhibition projects, that's always the challenge, I think, because the exhibit designers tend to come in a little bit in the later phase of the project.
Hmm.
So to strike a perfect harmony and coordinated work at the end, it really takes intensive coordination between the parties.
And they don't dominate the architecture. And I believe also there's some good use of digital exhibits, very interesting digital exhibits. Okay.
I like the 30-meter projection wall. That
Yes.
must make for a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Hey, good interior photography too, Scott. Not that you did it, but
Yeah, I wish it was mine.
photography is great. Huh?
I think all of these are examples of good photography, in particular for competition submissions, right? Where your judging panel tends to be all people who are trained in art. So it's important to address the kinds of things that we look at, as opposed to Instagrammable moments where we see a lot of distortion and maybe overuse of leading lines and perspective distortion.
What's striking about the digital wall is that it almost doesn't look like a digital wall,
It's like a window to the
only a
outside,
couple of
right?
years ago.
Because it's
Yeah.
so large.
Yeah, the seams between the panels are so invisible now that you almost don't perceive it as a digital wall anymore.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see these kinds of panels, walls, a lot more in VR and AR applications.
Yeah.
I could see architects being pretty attracted to something like this.
Oh yeah, big way.
Interiors too.
Yeah. I mean, imagine showing spaces to your clients on something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, we had 2 bronze winners in interiors. The first one is this is Shibuya Sky by Rhizomatics.
Hey, this is much classier than any observatory I've been to. The exhibits are outstanding. The use of space is amazing. And the drama when you arrive and you go up the escalator, all of that is brilliant. And I can imagine at night it's spectacular as well. I love the little hammocks on the roof. I think that's an idea I'm going to steal for somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, there's a video with this presentation that walks you through, and that really gives you a feel of what it's like to be a guest. And it's so unusual and very well crafted again. The workmanship on all the entries has been brilliant. Takes a lot of details to get these spaces to feel right.
Yeah. I said in my intro to the ceremony yesterday that I was a panel judge last year, and this year I'm quite happy not to be, because I think the job was so much harder this year. There were like so many fantastic entries, kind of hard to boil them down to a small number of winners. I like, those hammocks. That has to be the feel of being on the netting on a catamaran. You just kind of lie down there and look up. For me, this project, quite similar to what I felt about the Varv Museum, where you have this display wall on one side where you're looking at some kind of presentation, and then right behind you, floor to ceiling windows of probably some of what the subject that's being displayed in this observation deck. Just fabulous.
The energy of the city, the lights.
Yeah.
Just to give you a
I
little
wish we had
background.
something on this kind of scale in Hong Kong.
Right. I'm a Shibuya resident, actually. And just to give you a little background, Shibuya is undergoing a lot of development. And this is the first observatory deck on top of a skyscraper in the Shibuya area.
All right.
Mhm.
Well,
So
glad
we're
they
very
did it.
happy with this
I'll look forward to visiting that when it's safe to travel again, and I don't have to spend 28 days in quarantine.
We're all going to come see you, Daiichi.
Absolutely. Please come visit.
You can take us here, and we'll stay in the spa hotel
We will quarantine you here.
in Juku.
Oh, yay.
Oh,
On the
okay.
hammocks.
I'll quarantine in the spa hotel for sure. Okay, the second of our Bronze Award winners in interiors is the Intercontinental Yokohama Pier 8 by Nikken Space Design.
Well, it's extraordinary to have a hotel on Pier number 1. And this staircase is the key to it all. It's so beautiful. It's like a work of art. It's really a sculpture. And I think that's the clincher for me. The guest rooms are also nice. They're very warm, comfortable, spacious guest rooms. So that must be some very good hotel planning going on there. And look at the roof terrace and the view. Again, it's a well done project.
The staircase. I want to build something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And how they integrated the lighting. Lighting is so important in all of what we do. Even the guest room lighting you can see is very strong. It does not mention, I think, who the lighting designers are, but they deserve kudos as well.
Mhm.
Maybe next year we can add a lighting category.
Hey,
Yeah.
That's an idea.
Peggy's still with us? Peggy's with us, right?
Yes, I think it's nice to have lighting because there's quite a lot of lighting designer in Asia Pacific. So it's a nice idea. Thank you.
And material, right? There's some really beautiful materials, these timbers, all of these projects like that. Okay, so that was our winners, and I appreciate this input from people on the judging panel. I think that's, for me at least, quite interesting since I didn't get a chance to go through this process this year. And like I said, we had so many fabulous entries. I thought we could highlight a couple of those of our shortlisted projects that didn't quite cross the line into award winners, but still deserve kudos. They were